If this is what life sounds like, then this is what the world is. Got pissed between the whole zeitgeist, found out true religion ain't nothing but some old jeans. Struggling through the whole thing. I might need me a refund, cause I can't fit in these things. I spend too much on the floss. Shine me down for the gloss. The cost is way too expensive. The fact is keeping us lost. I'm looking for the old meaning to get us out of this teaching. They tell me that I'm too wrong, or maybe that I'm too preachy. Hello, listener. Inconsistently Consistent Podcast. I'm Erik, better known as Everything Real is Known. Hey, listen. I absolutely, positively hate asking for help. I feel like I could do everything by myself. And I don't know if that's just the way that I was bred or if that's just, something that was built inside of me where I feel like I don't need to ask nobody for help. I've always been a self-starter. I'm kind of lying. I wasn't always a self-starter, but I was a sponge, right? I always looked at whatever was going on around me and I soaked it up like a sponge. And I don't know what that part of it is, if that was just me kind of saying, I'm going to soak up all this shit so I can do it on my own. I don't know if that was the case, but that's how I feel. I feel like I could do everything by myself. I don't need nobody's help. Even when I was rapping and I was making music. When I started out 14, 15 years ago, and I was 14, no, not 14, 15 years ago, 14 or 15 in age. Let's be clear. I've been doing this for a while. But when I started out, I soaked everything up like a sponge. I wanted to be the one who did it all on his own. I didn't need anybody's help. I wanted to be the guy who could step into an arena and say, you know what? I did this all on my own. Nobody's help. But it doesn't always work out like that. So let me take you back. Shout out to Eli, EDub. He was one of my producers. Shout out to Wade Martin. He was one of my producers. I remember stepping into these guys' studio, and I remember going to the conservatory, to the school. I remember stepping into that realm. It shocked me in the fact that when I stepped into the studio, I was in a whole new world. But it was a world that I wanted to learn about. It was a world I wanted to know more about. It was all these gadgets. Maybe that's probably when the love of technology started for me, okay? So I'm watching what these guys are doing on the buttons, all this, mixing, all this mastering that they're doing to my vocals, all this editing that they're doing to my vocals, all this different thing to make me sound beefier and badder. And, at the time I was trying to be a gangster, so... I had some lyrics that, might put me a little street. But see, here's the thing. All their gadgets, all those gadgets, and I had to go to these guys, and I had to ask them to record me. I needed a booked studio time. My mother would always ask me, what would it take for you to get your own studio? And at the time when she was asking me, I always felt like, why the fuck are you asking me that? I already got a system. This system is working. Don't you hear the music? But she was trying to get me to think further. She was trying to get me to expound my mind and say, hey, Erik, you could do this shit on your own. You see, once again, I was bred that way. This is the way I came. This is who raised me. This is what I was bred to do. I was bred to do this shit on my own. So she would always ask me, what would it take for me to have my own? And I was like, I don't know. A whole lot of equipment, because that's what I saw. When I stepped into these worlds, I seen a whole vocal booth that was, soundproofed out. I seen, a mixing table that was way beyond my pocket at that point in time. I seen a whole lot of gadgets and wires and audio equipment that was stacked on top of each other. I seen a whole bunch of shit that I had no idea how to get my hands on. No idea. So when she would ask me this question, it was a question that was so big. I couldn't even wrap my mind around having my own studio to be able to record anything. Okay, so let me jump into Wade Martin, right? I talked about stepping into these studios and all these gadgets and gadgets. Once again, shout out to Wade Martin because he's a great guy, great producer. Okay, so I step into his studio, and when I get inside of there, everything is touchscreen. But once again, it's an elaborate vocal booth. Everything is elaborate. Everything is top notch, state of the art. So I'm like, wow, this is great. So tap tap tap, Erik, what would it take for you to have your own? Again, it was a question that was way too big because of what I was seeing at the time. I didn't know how to put any of this stuff together and make something happen. What the fuck was I gonna do? I was just me. I was the guy who had the lyrics, and I was the guy who was the rapper. I didn't need to worry about any of the extra shit. I just needed to worry about how to rap. But as time went on, and as I moved forward, I start to look and say, you know what? I can do this on my own. It's as simple as me getting this piece, getting that piece, getting this piece to work with this piece, and wow, voila, I was able to produce 3 of my own albums on my own. Now, they might not sound the greatest, but nevertheless, okay, I bust my ass on these 3 albums to make sure that they were something that was credible, that I could put my name to, right? Something that I felt proud about. I was really proud about this, okay? But when I started to do music, and when I started to kind of do everything on my own, what I started to notice is that I could do my own thing in other places. I've always had the thought of having my own clothing brand. I've always had my thoughts on my own clothing brand. And I guess I just modeled it after Jay-Z and Rockefeller, right? I was like, Rockefeller, Dame Dash, Jay-Z, they got a clothing brand. Why can't I have one? So I've always thought about having this thing. So when W.E.I.R.D came about, it wasn't like it was something that wasn't necessarily thought of, or I just pulled it out my ass and was like, you know what, this is where I'm gonna go with this clothing brand. This is what I'm gonna do. It wasn't never a thing like that. I remember sitting and drawing up sketches of what I wanted the logo to look like. And by the way, let me be honest, let me be clear. When I started this brand that I was thinking of in my head at the time, it was a woman's clothing brand. It wasn't a guy's clothing brand. It wasn't built for guys. It was built for women. I wanted to dress women, because the pervert inside of me wanted to, I wanted to look at the women that I was dressing, that's just how my mind works. That's just how I am. But I built this brand for women, and I had the name, I had the logo, I had everything mapped out and everything how I wanted it to look, but I never pushed forward with it. And you know why I didn't push forward with it? Because I thought I needed somebody else. And my prideful ass, my prideful self, I didn't want to go ask anybody for help. I didn't want to ask, how do you do this? How do I get this going on my own? I probably could have been FUBU before FUBU. Let's be clear, Damon Johns went on and took that on, and I don't know if I could have ever filled those shoes, right? But the thought was there. And the thought about me doing it on my own was, once again, it was there. It was something that I wanted to do on my own. Which brings me to, my podcast, right? So with my podcast, I wanted to make sure that this was something that I could do on my own, okay? Because I'm a self-motivator. Let's be clear here. I do a lot of shit on my own. I can handle myself, if you know what I'm talking about. But so when I started Inconsistently Consistent, I was like, you know what? With this, I want to do it on my own. This is something that I feel like I can do on my own. I don't need anybody's help. And like I said, as the story goes, with W.E.I.R.D, with Inconsistently Consistent, with my music, I was able to do everything on my own. I've put everything out, self-published, all that. I did it all on my own, okay? and I didn't need anybody's help. I was able to do this shit all on my own. So, what I ask you, listener, is do you feel like you could do everything on your own? Because I always hear this thing nowadays. You need a team. You need a team. If you feel like you're going to go anywhere, if you're going to feel like you're going to branch out anywhere, you need a team. In my hard-headed ass, my prideful ass, I'm like, fuck a team. Fuck this shit. I could do this on my own. Why do I need a team to tell me how to do me? I got the best ideas cooking up here. Nobody can tell me how to do this shit. Nobody can exercise that out. Only I can do this. So why would I go anywhere else to figure out how somebody else is going to tell me how to do it? This is all me. So I looked at the whole notion or the whole saying of having a team as like, fuck that. I don't need a team, okay? I could do this all by myself, all right? I've been doing a whole lot of other shit by myself. Why do I need a team? Well, turns out I did have a team. I did have people that I was working with. So let's explore. Let's deep dive. When I started up with the music and I started doing it on my own and putting out my own albums, right? I went to YouTube. There's that key word again, YouTube University. I went there, and when I went to YouTube, I found a guy called Henny the Biz. Great producer, a guy that could show me how to work and show me how to do things on an iPad that I never thought imaginable. But guess what? Henny the Biz didn't know, but I did. He was a part of my team. He was a part of my team, my virtual team. So he showed me how to put things together. He showed me how to mix. He showed me how to listen for the sound. He showed me what equipment to get. He showed me how I could do this all on my own. But he was a part of my team. So he was a part of my virtual team. So when we talk about doing everything on our own, we're really not. Because for me personally, I have a virtual team. I have someone that literally I look up their information and I try to get information from them or whatever they're showing me at the time on their how-to videos, and I use their information applied and I mix it with what I have and it comes out great. And I'm doing something amazing just based off of some how-to videos from YouTube. But that's not it, right? So I've dove into TikTok and I've looked into other creators and how they do things, and I'm always searching to get more knowledge. I always want to have more knowledge. I want to be able to build more. I want to do more. That's the goal. That's the key. And so with these virtual people that don't even know that they're working with me, they just know that they're putting out some quality content and I'm soaking it up like a sponge. I'm watching, I'm just, analyzing everything that they're saying. I'm watching what they're doing. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to apply that with what I got. And I'm going to do something amazing. So I always point out some of these certain people that got me started. But let's dive a little deeper, right? Because I started out with the music. Henny the Biz showed me how to get that started. So how did I start W.E.I.R.D? How did that idea come about? Who showed me that? Well, once again, it was a team of virtual thinkers, of virtual creators that I had in my arsenal to show me how to get things done. I analyzed their videos, watched what they was doing, used some of their same techniques to be able to put my brand together or to make my idea come to fruition. Because W.E.I.R.D didn't just come out of the sky like, oh, I want to start this clothing line. It wasn't like before when I had started the ladies' clothing line, okay? It wasn't like that. When I had started that, it was an idea. It was something that I wrote, and I was like, hey, this is great. This is awesome. But it was something that I tucked away because I didn't know how to actually pursue it and make it come to fruition. So I have all these creators. I have all these people in my back pocket or in my tool belt, that they don't know that they're helping me, but they are. But I mean, listener, we're always seeking knowledge and we're always trying to get help with things that we're falling short on or things that we don't know how to come to fruition. So when you sit up there and you say this thing like me, because I'm prideful. I'll tell you, I'll be the first motherfucker to tell you, like, I did it all on my own. I did this by myself. And I'll stick the stick in the sand and say, I did this. I'm standing on this fucking rock. Who's going to knock me off? I did this. But let's be clear. Let's be honest. I didn't do it all by myself. I had virtual help. I had people that they didn't know that they were helping me, but they were helping me put this together. It's the same thing when I went into Inconsistently Consistent. I used the same knowledge applied. I went to YouTube University and started to look up how to start a podcast. What host would I use, right? And I'm going to shout out somebody else. I'm going to shout out this guy. His name is Karceno. He's on YouTube, again. But I followed him because, again, he just grabbed the camera, started shooting, gave us a story. His stories were excellent to me. They might not be excellent to you, but they're excellent to me. I like them, okay? So, in particularly, he has a series about Rick James and just kind of like older music and beefs and scuffs and stuff like that. So I like it. It's something that I dove into. So I like this guy. But primarily, when I was watching his videos on YouTube and I was watching him tell his stories on YouTube, I was like, how can I do something like that? I've always wanted to start a podcast. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to be in front of the mic and talk to you guys and flush out my ideas and let you guys in this crazy motherfucker. This steel trap up here. Okay, I always wanted to do that. And so one day I'm watching one of his videos and I'm listening to him. And it comes across with this Anchor ad, Anchor FM. And I'm like, oh shit, this is awesome. He just gave me the fucking key. He gave me what I needed. He gave me the knowledge. This is great. I can go figure out what I need to do, and all I got to do is just simply copy what he was doing. So I did my research. I dove into Anchor FM to see if it was actually a good thing. And I found out that, yeah, it is a great thing. It's something great to have. So I'm like, okay, fuck yeah. Let me on my way. Karceno will never know that he helped me out, but he did. He's somebody that truly helped me out when I was sitting there seeking the knowledge. I was listening to his video and intaking his content and consuming it, but he had no idea that he really was helping me out. So fast forward to today. Well, let's back up a little bit. When I started this journey, when I got into podcast or podcasting, one of the things that my daughter would just and her boyfriend would gnaw at me. Okay, man, your podcast got to be video. It's got to be video. If it's not video, I'm not watching it. You know, I'm not listening. I mean, if it's not video, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to go and I'm not going to click on your Spotify. I'm not going to click on your Apple podcast. I'm not going to click on none of this shit if you don't got video. So it was like, damn, I don't know how to do video with podcast. I don't know how to do this shit. I just know that I know how to pick up the mic, turn it on, and get busy. Okay? I know I need an audio interface. I know I need a microphone that has phantom power. I know I need these things to work together simultaneously. So I'm you know, I could put this show together. Right? But I started to tap into what he was into. And I come across a podcast by the name of Joe Budden and Joe Rogan and all the Joes. Everybody with a Joe got a podcast, okay? So Joe, you got a podcast. I probably listened to your shit, and that's probably what it is. Joe came up with a podcast, and I tapped into the shit, and you know, history was made. Joe, thank you, Joe. But one of the things that was crazy to me is that I watched his podcast and I watched what he was doing. And I watched this guy be on camera and I watched him talk his shit. And I watched the entertainment. I watched why people tuned in. So I said, you know what? This is something that I do want to get into. I just don't know how. So I had to go seek the information. I had to go figure it out. So I did that. And I was able to figure it out. And lo and behold, by the time I got ready to figure it out, Spotify comes in the game and they say, hey, we want to give you an opportunity since you're signed up with Anchor. We want to give you an opportunity to put this shit to video. It was just perfect timing. So again, Spotify doesn't know that they're helping me, the creator. They are my virtual team. But here's the thing. In 2022, I know that I can't do it all by myself. At some point, I'm going to need some help. So, I put this to you, listener. You hear me. You hear my podcast. You see me. You watch the show. I want help. I don't want virtual help anymore. I want real help. I want a real team. Because my idea of this show is to expound, is to get bigger. I told myself if I was going to come back for the 5th season, I wasn't going to bullshit this time. I was really going to put in all the effort, all the focus, everything that I got. I really want to expound the show and go on a broader scale. And what I want to do is I want to build a community. I know that there's people out there like me, or if they listen to my podcast, they probably get something from it. They probably are taking something from it. Either it's like, that motherfucker Erik, everything real is known, he crazy as fuck. He crazy as fuck, bro. I don't know. Or you're actually getting some of the jewels that I'm dropping. But I need a whole team. I need writers. I need producers. I need a videographer. I need it all. And I want to be in control of it, obviously, because it's my show. But I need help. I want real people to help me so I can build a community and build this show even stronger and better. Because I believe, just like Joe Budden and just like, those people that I see out there, Joe Rogan, that have this elaborate podcast that people tune into week after week, day after day. I really believe that the team that's behind them is making them go. It's making them go further than they ever would have thought or ever would have imagined. That's where I'm at. My thoughts are right on the cusp of being further and being better. I can do so much. You see where we at. We're in Weird Studios. I can only do so much before I have to hand the reins off to someone else to help me. We didn't even get into weird in regards to all the vendors that helped me there to put everything together, to bring my ideas to fruition, so that way I could present it to you, the masses, the listener. We didn't even get into that part of it. But you see where I'm at. You see who I am. You see that I really work hard. I work hard, and I want somebody like-minded that's going to work just as hard as me to be able to put this show on another level. We've already, hit plateaus, and we've already hit goals that we were supposed to hit, but I want to hit even more goals. I got even more ambition, even more dreams that I want to produce and get out to the world. I might seem crazy up here, but I want to do more. And I know if I have a team to be able to do more or to be able to push further, it's only going to get better from here. So that's what I want to do. That's my goal, right? So the question, right? Can you do it all by yourself? Yes, but no. You cannot do everything by yourself. And even I know that. It took me a while to figure it out, but even I know that. I can't do it all by myself as much as I would love to. But let me tell you something else in regards to doing it by yourself. When you do it by yourself, it's a lot of alone time. You get lonely doing a whole lot of shit by yourself. Yes, I can do, millions of things. I got millions of hats that I throw on. I can do a lot of shit. But there's still so much more that I can't do. And I don't want to virtually look for that information constantly. I definitely want to build a team around me. Because I know if I do have that team around me, we're going to go further. And we're going to do some major shit together. So, again, listener, answering the question, can you do it all by yourself? I don't think so. You could do a lot of shit by yourself. But 9 times out of 10, if you're trying to build a brand or if you're trying to build a company, yes, you might be able to get a whole lot of information from YouTube University. Yes, you might be able to get a whole lot of information from just soaking it up like a sponge and being in the area. You might be able to learn a whole lot there. But if you don't have that team, if you don't have those like-minded people that are going to be around you to build up what you're trying to do, you cannot do it by yourself. Thanks for listening.